Hey everyone, I'm Catherine with Dreamcast, and I'm gonna help you choose the right fire pit for your space. In this video, we're gonna take a look into some of the factors that you need to think about when choosing a fire pit. We're gonna look at location, the purpose of your fire pit, what materials are available for fire pits, and the setup that's involved. Let's start. Let's start from the top. When considering location of the fire pit, you need to consider if it's going on a patio, an elevated deck, a deck, or a rooftop. The location is important when it comes to choosing which fire pit you're gonna place. This is if it's going on a deck. Does your fire pit have a clearance requirement for wood? If it's going on a rooftop, weight can be a concern. How are you gonna get it up there? Is a crane gonna have to be involved, or are you just gonna manpower it up? So size might be a factor there as well as soon as we're going into heights. And another important consideration with fire pits is clearance. You don't just wanna consider to the ground if you're going on a deck, but also what clearance are you gonna have from the top of your fire pit to your patio cover, whether you have a gazebo, pergola, whatever structure you have above. Every fire pit is gonna have a different clearance requirement. So take a look at the manual for each one and make sure that you have that safe clearance. We should also keep in mind who is gonna be using the fire pit. Is it just gonna be for friends and family, or is the fire pit going to be off to the side? If it's for friends and family, consider the audience. Do we have a lot of small kids who are gonna be visiting? In that case, we should probably have a glass barrier to keep the flame secure and small hands away from the flame. If the fire pit's going to be off to the side, say poolside or on a viewpoint, then it's not going to be easy to reach the fire pit. You may want to consider electronic ignition. That means you're going to be able to just flip a switch and the fire pit turns on remotely. These features typically add quite a bit to the price of a fire pit, and you do have to run electricity, so you're gonna have to hardwire electricity to the fire pit, either 120 volt or 24 volt. This depends on the unit. So there are quite a few things to keep in mind depending on ease of access and who your audience is for the fire pit. On that note, what is the purpose of your fire pit? This is going to be a driving factor when making your selection. Are you looking to enjoy dinner with the family? There's full, proper fire tables at dinner height available. So they're going to be about 24 inches in height, 20 to 24. You will need dining chairs around it, and you'll be able to enjoy a full, proper dinner. If you're looking to enjoy coffee and appetizers after dinner, then consider a fire pit like the Dreamcast Aura. Here we have an 8-inch rim, which is perfect size for small plates, cups of coffee, glasses of wine. This would be the perfect choice for appetizers and an after-dinner event. If you're looking for maximum heat, then you should consider less table space and more flame area, because you are going to need to accommodate for a larger burn area. As soon as we go into that, we should also consider clearances to your cover, because the larger the fire, the higher the clearance you're going to need. For example, Dreamcast, we offer the Crossfire burner, and this has a 10-foot clearance from the top of the fire pit to your pergola or wooden beams. We also offer a stainless steel system that only has an 8-foot clearance. So depending on the fire pit, you're gonna have a different clearance requirement. The larger the flame, the greater the height clearance you're going to need. Alternatively, if you have a wood burning fire pit, then it's better to just have it open without any cover. In that case, you are covered for any amount of logs that you put into that fire pit. When looking into what other options, if you want to have the fire pit as a space divider, then consider a linear fire pit. That line of fire works as a great visual divider between areas of the yard. Or if you have an amazing view, That linear fire pit can really take advantage of a furniture layout that looks directly out onto the ocean or valley viewpoints that you could have. The next subject we want to explore is what materials are available for fire pits. This list includes steel, concrete, pavers, bricks, ready finish kits, custom builds, natural stone, and we're gonna break this list into two categories: DIY and ready-made. For DIY, we're gonna go over these options briefly. For pavers, bricks, ready-to-finish kits, the heart of the unit comes down to the burner and how to choose the right burner for your fire pit. For burners, consider round or linear. If we're looking at round fire pits, in the Crossfire system, we have a CFB, which is their original series, or the octagonal series. And each burner has a minimum burn area that's required to accommodate the flame. So a 60,000 BTU burner is going to need a minimum of a 30-inch burn area. And you're going to have about a 12-inch actual fire diameter within a 30-inch flame area. In a linear system, we have, say, 110,000 BTUs. That's the CFBL 110 from Warming Trends. And that's an 11-inch long burner. And that requires a 14-inch long burn area. And as your burners get longer, you need more space to accommodate them. It's important to not crowd the burner because the flame can really damage whatever substrate goes around it. Most of the burners will have a guideline that says X equals Y, and that's important to keep in mind. To help you build your fire pit, in the description below, we've included a link that will help you in choosing length of burner to length of fire bed, or diameter of burner and diameter of fire bed. Check it out below. In the ready-made fire pits, we have the metal options, which are the lightweight fire tables available. We have steel fire pits, which are perfect for wood burning, and you have these in stainless steel or Corten steel. Corten steel is the metal which burnishes and ages when left outside, whereas the stainless steel fire pits will stay spotless and new in whatever environment you place them in. And there's also concrete, which I can tell you quite a bit more about. Concrete fire pits give you lots of options for color and size, but there is a weight that you need to consider. Also, when buying a concrete fire pit, look into whether it is an actual cast concrete fire pit or just has a cement layer around a steel body. How the unit will age and perform through the years depends a lot on this construction. Also, consider whether the fire pit is just painted on top or colored integrally. Again, this will play into how the unit will perform over the years. There's also a little bit of maintenance involved with a concrete fire pit that you should take into consideration. Usually, concrete fire pits come factory sealed, but the sealer will wear away if it's fully exposed to the elements. So if you live somewhere where there is heavy rains or long-term snows, make sure to keep your fire pit covered. Buy a breathable fabric cover, which will allow moisture to evaporate rather than to stay onto the concrete. And that will also help increase the longevity of the finish of your fire pit by keeping that sealer intact. For scale of your fire pit, an easy guide to keep in mind is the edge of your patio furniture. You want to keep your fire pit within the square of your sectional or within the length of your sofa. So if you have a 36-inch round fire pit, do a cardboard cutout, place it within the furniture, and see, does the outside of your fire pit go beyond the outside arm of your sofa or sectional? And if you're doing a linear fire pit, generally these pair better with sofas, say one in front of the other, or one sofa and two club chairs. Again, do a cutout, place it, you'll get an immediate, easy, instant feeling if this is working, or perhaps you need to scale it down or scale it up. When our customers come to us for advice on what size of fire pit they should get for their space, we simply ask, how many people do you want to accommodate? In our rectangular series, our 48-inch accommodates 4 to 6 people. A 72-inch accommodates 8 to 10 people, and the 60-inch falls in between those dimensions. So depending on your furniture layout, we have from 48 to 72 to serve from 4 to 12 people. If you want to learn more about fire pits, maybe get a bit more help in how to choose the right shape for your yard, check out our YouTube channel. Hit like, subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you next time.